Hello and welcome to Parents Guide to Games. My name is Stefan. If you could please like, share, and subscribe. Here are the games coming up September 7th, 2021.
The first game on our list is Sonic Colors Ultimate. This is coming on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is everyone. The content descriptions, cartoon violence. This is an action platformer in which players assume the role of Sonic the Hedgehog as he zooms across fantasy landscapes collecting gold rings and power-ups. Sonic can use spin attacks to knock over several robot enemies, resulting in punching sound effects, grunts, and brief explosions. Boss fights involve more protracted combat with larger robot enemies. Combat can involve avoiding laser fire and pursuing and dashing at enemies from a third person's perspective. Now let's take a look at The Artful Escape. This is coming on Xbox Series X and PC. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions, alcoholic references, language, mild suggestive themes, and use of tobacco. This is a narrative adventure game in which players follow the story of Francis Veniati as he embarks on a journey to find a stage persona. From a 2D side-scrolling perspective, players explore city streets, interact with characters, and traverse platform levels to advance the narrative. The game depicts some customizable outfits because it's somewhat revealing. Some characters are seen smoking cigars, and alcohol is referenced in the dialogue. Swear words appear in the dialogue. Now let's take a look at Life is Strange True Colors. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, Google Stadia, and PC. The rating is mature. The content descriptions, blood, drug references, strong language, suggestive themes, use of alcohol, and violence. This is an adventure game in which players follow the story of a young adult trying to manage her empathetic powers while solving a mystery in a Colorado town. From a third person's perspective, players explore various locations in town and interact with townspeople. Cutscenes depict some instances of violence, a man punching and kicking another character, a man shooting a character, a woman punching a character in the face repeatedly. Blood sometimes appears on characters' knuckles and or faces. The dialogue contains some suggestive references. Some sequences allow the player characters to drink shots of alcohol or cans of beer, and in one sequence depicts a drinking game in a bar. The town contains a marijuana dispensary. Both marijuana and paraphernalia are visible when talking to characters in the shop. Swear words appear in the dialogue. Now let's shoot some hoops with NBA 2K22. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is everyone. This is a basketball simulation game in which players can select teams from real NBA rosters, complete in tournaments, and play through regular seasons. Players can also manage individual franchises and careers of their customizable athlete. And the next game on today's list is Port Royale 4. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions, alcohol and tobacco references, language, and mild violence. This is a strategy game in which players manage the economy and industrial growth of a colony. From an overhead perspective, players establish trade routes, build infrastructure, and engage in naval conflicts against hostile nations and pirates. Battle is turn-based as players maneuver their ships on a grid-based play area. Battles are depicted realistic gunfire, mild explosions, and sinking ships. Some items include tobacco and rum. Text and song lyrics may also reference alcohol. Swear words appear in the text. Next up is Tales of Arise. This is coming on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is teen. The content descriptions, alcoholic references, blood, language, suggestive themes, and violence. This is a role-playing game in which players lead characters on a quest to battle evil foes in a fantasy world of Danana. From a third person's perspective, players traverse various environments, complete quests, interact with characters, and battle fantasy creatures. Players use swords, firearms, and magic spells to defeat enemies. Battles are accompanied by screen-shaking effects and impact sounds. Cutscenes depict additional acts of violence and blood. A woman bleeding on the ground after being impaled. A man stabbed in the back. Characters impaled in the chest. A woman burnt at the stake. Blood is also seen splattered player screens on occasion. Some female characters wear outfits that reveal large amounts of cleavage. Some characters' breasts also jiggle. A hot spring sequence contains some innuendo and suggestive dialogue. In a side quest, characters engage in prolonged conversations about an alcoholic substance called Kachila, with dialogue and references to alcohol. Characters are also seen drinking and or discussing alcohol in a tavern. Swear words appear in the game. And the last game on today's list is WarioWare Get It Together. This is coming on Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. The content descriptions, cartoon violence, and crude humor. This is a collection of micro games in which players follow Wario and his crew as they attempt to fix problems with their video game. Mini games sometimes involve dropping rocks on characters' heads, defending characters from monsters, or zapping enemies until they fall off screen. Violence is cartoony with whimsical sound effects, impact sounds, and small explosions. Some scenes briefly depict Wario picking his nose, and a handful of minigames involve bathroom humor, dodging pink poo coils falling from birds, collecting drops of mucus from a giant finger, moving a poo coil around in Cat's litter box. Thank you to bensound.com for the music track. Please follow Parents Guide to Games on YouTube at Parents Guide to Games, on Facebook at Parents Guide to Games, on Twitter at ParentsG2G, and email any questions or concerns at parentsg2g@gmail.com. And always, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.